today's episode, I wanted to focus on the feeling anger. For me personally, it's something that I was terrified of pretty much all my life, and I didn't know that I was until, I guess, last year. Maybe the year before, when I discovered ACA, basically, the 12-step program that I run now. I blocked mine out by living a false life of going around telling everybody that I'm a really chill person, I don't get angry, and if I do, it takes a hell of a lot to boil up, I suppose, inside me until I explode, which I did explode. It didn't happen very often, but when I did, those are the points that I suppose, in essence, felt like I was crazy, because I didn't understand the feeling. I didn't know where it came from. I didn't know how to release it. So I would end up pushing people away. Fortunately, I wasn't ever aggressive with it, like I know that some people can be. The worst I got, I suppose, I might swear at somebody on occasion, depending on who it is. I might, call them a prick or something. But yeah, generally I wasn't too bad somehow, but mentally I was destroyed by it. And somebody in my group actually asked how to deal with anger, so I thought I'd do an episode on that because it's such a big thing. And just to let you know, it's one of those things as well, like, everyone is different. Emotional regulation in any aspect is so important, and it's really something that we all need to learn to role model for our children. Like, this is one of my biggest things that I cannot express enough how important this is. But we, of course, the best way that I believe that we can do that is by doing it ourselves, so they see. Don't be afraid to show that you're angry. Like, it's okay to be angry. We all feel like it. It doesn't make us a bad person. I thought that all my life because I just associate anger with violence and emotional abuse, like, every single time. But it's not true. Obviously, sometimes we can react in a way that can be abusive, but for the most part, I think, especially for people that would be watching this channel, it wouldn't be intentional. We don't set out to hurt people intentionally. That's just not what we're here for. So I just wanted to share one of my things that actually works best for me. I mean, for a long time, when I discovered I needed to release this anger, I didn't know what to do with it. And I tried a few things, and I didn't feel comfortable doing them, or I just felt weird doing them. Like, I know, I do on occasion, actually. I feel a bit weird doing this just because I wouldn't want someone to, like, see me do it, I guess. But going somewhere, like, in the middle of the forest, for example, and just screaming my fucking head off, like, that I find helps. But obviously where I live, I don't live next to anywhere where there's, like, it's the middle of nowhere, so it's not really an option for me here. And actually, it's not often anyway that I get angry enough to need to do that, so it's all good now. But that's just one little way, I suppose, that you can try. Another way, it didn't personally work for me, but there is doing things like shouting into your pillow, or punching your pillow and just getting really angry at your pillow and saying everything that's in your head that you might want to say to somebody that has done something to make you feel this way. Obviously don't do it when there. Don't, like, it's not something you need to share with anybody. It's just for you, just to release that. And I know for me, when I did it, it was something I felt guilty about doing as well, even though, like, I look now, I'm like, it's a bit, that's silly, really, because I'm not harming anybody by, you know, abusing and insulting and shouting and swearing at a pillow. Like, it's not real. Like, that's not them. I wouldn't talk to them like that. But again, that's not something personally for me I feel works the best. What I tend to do when I'm angry, I do vocalize stuff. I used to write a lot, and I do still write, but for me, I only choose to write in intense situations. So I find personally for me, especially when I first learnt to drive, I would find myself in my car just like muttering to myself, um, saying to this person what I really wanted to say, just out loud, as they were sitting right next to me, but they weren't. And it just made me feel really good. Like, it's a really good way to just get it out there, like, bleh, it all out, and I transcended eventually, because I would still get these moments where I like explode. I have a tendency, and I still do sometimes, and I don't always know I'm doing it, but I have a tendency to, because I want to be that chill person. I don't like violence. I'm a pacifist. I don't like conflict, unless it's going to be resolved. Um, then I tend to go through these phases, I suppose, where I'm like, something will happen with somebody and I don't like it. And I think in my body, I know I'm annoyed by it, but I don't want to be annoyed, because it's like a subconscious thing. Like, there is still a part of my brain which I'm still working on. I've almost got past it, I think, but there's a part of my brain that's like, no, like, it's scared. It's still scared. My inner child is still afraid of fear of being angry. Because I don't want to be angry. I don't like to be angry at people. But it's something that it just, we just do. That's just the way it is. So for me, I get to a point that I shove it down. Like, I shove things down still, and I know that it's the worst thing that you can do. So I try not to, but I'm not always aware that I'm doing it. But I've learned, I'm still learning to read my body and my intuitive ways, because I don't always understand them. I've recently learned now that my way, when I'm angry, my face, it gets red hot. Like, and I was confused by this for a long time. Like, I knew it was something that made me uncomfortable, and it was intense feeling, but I didn't know which feeling it was. And I've worked out now, finally, I do that when I'm angry. And I guess as well when I feel out of control. But I can take that anger and I can release it, and then I can choose to do something about it, like, in me. I can't control my outside situation, but I can control me. So I'll choose that anger, to take that anger in and release it. And if need be, I will take the action for myself to change. For example, I get really pissed off when people are unreliable. I'm not a fan of unreliable people, and I understand people make mistakes, but overall, it's not something I want in my life. I feel like well, I don't feel, I know I deserve to be respected. So I just don't want that in my life. So when people do things like, you know, they're going to meet me, they've arranged to meet me, and then they don't turn up, for example, like they don't even bother to tell me that they're not coming, they just don't turn up and just ignore me and hope the problem's going to go away, that pisses me off. It makes me angry. And when this happens, like, I can either have a go at them, or I suppose set my boundaries. Like, I don't necessarily have to have a go at the person, depending on how often they do it. Or I can choose to decide, actually, I'm not going to put my energy into this person anymore, because it's not worth it. Like, I don't like feeling angry, and I don't want to be disrespected, and by me allowing these things to happen over and over again, that is inadvertently showing that I don't value myself. And I do value myself, so I will often just take it and move on from it. It's something I've learnt to be quite good at. It's taken me a really long time to get there in cases like this, because it's something that's hard to grasp. You know, you care about somebody a lot and you so desperately want them to care about you, but the fact is they just don't. If someone can disrespect you in any way, shape or form, they don't care. They don't care. People don't do that to people they care about. It's just not a nice thing to do, to be honest. But yeah, so anyway, going back a bit, when I have my explosive times where I cannot, I just simply, it doesn't matter what I do, like I have an attitude with people, I have my sass on, I'm not settled, I'm really tense all the time, I can't sleep, I don't have much of an appetite, I lose my motivation. Like, these little signs, like, I've learnt to recognise that something's not right, and very often it's because I'm pissed off and upset about being let down by somebody. Not once, like, that can be forgiven quite easily. I mean, all of it can be forgiven, really. But sometimes I have moments where I will hold on to that anger, because I have let things slip, because I've not been respecting my own values and not having healthy boundaries. And at these points of time, I've learned that for me, I would take a week, just like as a test run, and I write down every single thing that pisses me off. So it can be like the most stupidest things sometimes, just like, I don't know, they put their shoes on backwards. Like, that's not really a very good example, but you know, that might piss someone off. Like, it doesn't piss me off personally, but it's just like silly little things, like things that genuinely are not okay, like you're being disrespected, like they're treating you like shit, or they're not including you, or they're just being insultive or not being supportive, or they're just not showing up, they're not putting effort in, they're not giving the same energy, like you're just not, like stuff like that. To be honest, it most often occurs to me when in a relationship, when I get romantically involved, because that's my, I suppose in my lifetime, that's the thing that I struggle with the most. Again, it's something I really improved on. But in my romantic relationships, especially, I suffered a lot with codependent traits. Like, I was very codependent. I still have some. Like, it's something that I probably will always have, but before I used to class myself as codependent, now I don't. Like, I have codependent traits. They slip out sometimes, but it's not a common occurrence anymore. So yeah, anyway, I will write down every single little thing that's pissing me off. And it takes a lot of work and it's hard to do, and it's also hard as well to like not say anything, because quite often when we're angry we have a tendency to just go into our like fight mode, and we want to fight, and we wanna what's the word, begins with R, crap, what's the word, got it, we want revenge. We have revengeful moments, and we want to just, you know, we want to give back what they're doing because it's uncomfortable. We don't like it, and we have a tendency to react by wanting to seek revenge somehow. So I will spend a whole week doing this just to make sure that I can collect all the information possible, and really get to the bottom of being able to let it go, because I find at first I did it just for a day, and the more I thought about it, and obviously the more I spent time with this person, and reflected on stuff, there was more and more, there was just stuff just kept coming. Like when you're triggered so much like that, everything comes at once, but there's so much that it's hard to take note of it all at once. So I take a whole week, and I take this notepad with me, and I write every single time I feel pissed off. I write in there exactly what I'm pissed off about, and I will write it exactly how I'm thinking at that moment. So there'll be swearing, there might be some insults and shit in there, like, but I'm writing it there because it needs to be released. And then what I do is, when I feel like completely like I've let it all out, for me it does, I just leave it for a week. By day 5 usually I get to the point that I have an understanding of everything that's getting to me, but I carry on anyway just in case. Sometimes there's like 1 or 2 things that might pop up again after that, and then I go to somewhere where I feel safe, and at ease. Like for me it's in nature. Like I'm a total hippie, like you might have guessed by the kind of clothes that I wear, and the fact that like this is my room I'm in, like I have plants behind me, and they're everywhere in my room. So I go to a spot where I feel safe and I feel calm, and relaxed, and I take my notepad with me. I'll pull out the pages, and there's a saying we say in ACA, it's called let go and let God. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in God as the universe, so as in Mother Earth. So in order for me to fully let go, I will pray. I will pray for the strength to be able to let go. I don't ask, for anything revengeful, because it's just not it's not productive at all. Like, and I don't wish harm on anybody. Like, I really don't. There might be moments that I'm like, so pissed me off. Like, why can't he just, like, I hope this happens to him so he knows how I feel and stuff like that. Like, but we're human. We all feel like that sometimes. But genuinely, no, I would never wish any harm upon anybody else. I just don't think that's what humans are here for. I don't think we are supposed to be that way. I think we're, unconditionally loving, compassionate, pacifistic creatures. In our souls, like that's our souls I'm describing. And so after I've done that, I will then, this is the fun bit, I didn't mention, I bring a lighter with me, and I set that bitch on fire. Yeah, I do. It's good. It's a really good way of releasing it, like physically. It's all very well speaking, writing things down, but sometimes we need that extra physical sensation of being actually to be able to see it letting go. And like, it's a symbol for me, you know, I see it burning, I'm like, yes, you know, burn it away, let it go. And then the ashes, obviously they fly into nature, and that's me giving that to back to the universe. Like, I don't want it anymore, like, you can have it, take it away from me. And for me, that this works. This is the most powerful thing for me that works. There are loads of other ways you can do it. So yeah, I just thought I'd, you know, share my own wisdom here. I hope that it's been helpful. If you're in this boat, like, if anger is something you struggle with, no, again, I just want to remind you that it's okay. Like, we all get angry. Like, anger is not our enemy. It really isn't. I know it might feel like it, but it really isn't. I promise you it's not. It's there to serve us in some way or another. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you soon.